In this video, you will learn how to perform the ovarian slicing technique. With this approach, there is a wider use of the ovary and the follicles than other collection techniques. To perform this technique and assemble the slicer, we're going to need 5 blades, 18 metal flat washers, 3 metal screws, 3 metal nuts, and a screwdriver. First, we prepare the materials and the place that we are going to work with. To start the assembling of the slicer tool, we locate 3 washers into 3 screws and consecutively insert them into the holes of a blade. Next, we place washers again to spare the blade from the following ones, and we repeat this process until the last blade is added. At this moment, we are able to add the hexagonal nuts and screw them until they reach the washers. We secure them with a screwdriver for the blades to remain still while we work. And finally, the tool is ready to use. The selection of the ovaries is according to the experimental design. For our aim, we prefer working with ovaries without corpus luteum and from medium to large size with numerous of visible follicles in the cortex. After the selection of the ovary that we are going to slice, we can aspirate them or not according to the experimental design. We cut all the tissue excess with a scissor, and then later, with a scaffold, we open the ovary in a butterfly shape. The cuts needs to be done from the tissue connection to the almost very end of the medulla without splitting the 2 pieces apart. The next thing to do is to place the ovary in a petri dish with media. In this case, we're using dissection media, but it can be done with PBS as well. Using a ripper, we hold the ovary with one hand and we slice the ovary with the other hand. The first time is preferable to slice in one direction and then in the opposite direction that we previously sliced. The main idea is to release the smallest oocytes from the smallest follicles into the media. That's why with controlled pressure we scratch the entire cortex of the ovary to achieve this aim. And once we finish the slicing, this is how it should look like. There are some notes at this moment. Do not be too gentle. As you can see here, the cortex is barely scratched by the blade, and nothing will come out of this process. But on the other hand, don't be too hard because you will end up destroying the ovary and not having where to do the scratch from or to hold on. So the main idea is to scratch the ovary, leaving all the cortex graded. Once we finish the slicing technique, we place the ovary on a beaker and we rinse the ovary, allowing the media to recover whatever rest of pieces that remain on the tissue. After a few shakes, the ovary is removed from the beaker into a disposable container. Now we put all the media together, the one in the petri dish and the beaker, and we proceed to perform a series of filtrations. We make sure as well that nothing is remaining on the surface that we perform the slicing. To perform the filtration, we use a 216 micrometer mesh that is held into a beaker with a rubber. So we tilt all the media where we used to perform the slicing into this mesh, and this is the first filtration that we're going to do to remove all the big pieces of tissue that will disturb us during the search. The following step is to clean the mesh, to remove the tissue from it. So we're going to dispose this part and work with the media and the oocytes within it. Now that we remove all the big pieces of tissue, we are going to filter once more with a 40 micrometer mesh, because our objective is to find all sites less than 100 micrometers. So we prepare the filter, and after that we will start tilting the media that we use in the slicing technique into the filter. Here the objective is that everything that is bigger than 40 micrometers in diameter will remain in the filter, and the debris will fall into the new beaker. Once the filtration is over, we make sure that everything is ready to place in a gridded petri dish, searching petri dish, and with a syringe and dissection media in this case, we clean the filter, pushing everything that it was contained there into the searching dish, and afterwards the plate is ready to be used.